that still is the hardest part about DPC is just that pull. How much do we give to our patients and our office? And then how much do we save the best for our families? And that pull is still there, but I feel like the choice is ours in DPC. So again, you get to create, that's the beauty of it. You get to create what's best for you and your family.
Welcome to DPC Life, the podcast where independent doctors share real stories, bold ideas, and the freedom of doing medicine on your own terms. I'm your host, Dr. Ann Gonzalez, and together we'll explore the wins, the struggles, and everything in between. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to the second episode of DPC Life. I'm Ann Gonzalez, your host, a DPC physician of 4 years now, which I cannot believe it's been 4 years. My guest today is a DPC physician who I met when she was living in North Carolina. So for any new DPC doctors that are usually within an hour or two of me, I like to get in touch with them and introduce myself and tell them that I'm here for them if they need any help or resources or just need to chat. So Dr. Heather Doty was opening up about an hour away from where I live, and as you'll find out, she ended up moving to Florida not long after she opened. So that's how we first met, and she's graciously agreed to be on the podcast. So my guest today is Dr. Heather Doty, a family physician, and she owns Crossroads Health and Wellness, DPC in Naples, Florida. Here we go.
Well, thank you for doing this with me. I'm so excited. You're my first person to interview, so this is awesome. And I'm so glad you wanted to help me out with this. And as coming in to DPC, it's kind of a unknown, like very big jump, leap of faith. So the goal is to try and help other people, especially moms, right? There's just a lot to think about. All right. So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about your family and how you got into DPC?
Sure. Yeah. So we have a very interesting blended family. It's Brady Bunch-esque, I suppose. So we have 3 children, and the 2 oldest children are my honorary children. So they're my stepchildren from my husband's first marriage. They are 27 and 25, and they're living in your neck of the woods in North Carolina. Yeah. And so they are grown and flown, and we have a grandchild. Actually, my grandson, Isaiah, is adorable. And then our middle 2 children are adopted from Ukraine. They're teenagers. We adopted them 5 years and 7 years ago. And our youngest 2 are our biological kids, and they are now 16 and almost 15. So we have 3 teenagers at home, and the rest are grown.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's our family story.
Yeah.
Unusual.
It is. It is. And now you're 3 years into DPC now?
So yeah, I am. My DPC story is actually really interesting. I started my DPC practice, which is Crossroads Health and Wellness, about 2.5 years ago. I started it in North Carolina doing house calls. I really, as a mom, I'm financially very risk averse. And so I wanted to do something with a lot of wisdom. I didn't want to go into debt. So, God called me out of the traditional medical system and started DPC with really nothing more than, my little to-go bag. And then actually it was about a month after I launched and I had a little handful of patients. He called us to Florida, and I thought, well, isn't that an interesting plot twist after I've already done all the groundwork to lay this in North Carolina? So my DPC here is just over 2 years old. And even though I'm 2.5 years in. So yeah, our story is lots of twists and turns and lots of unusual plot twists in the Doty family.
Yeah, that's true. And you still have somebody in North Carolina, right? A nurse practitioner working with you? Is that right?
I do, yeah. And maybe this will resonate with some people. My heart for DPC is twofold. One, I want patients to really have the time and the space to feel well. And I know as women and as moms, we're just nurturers. We need that time to come alongside people. And likewise, I love coming alongside other physicians, PAs, nurse practitioners. And so Melanie King is a nurse practitioner with many years of experience. And so she kind of came under my little business umbrella and is doing women's healthcare in North Carolina under the Crossroads business umbrella.
That's awesome. Yeah, so you've got licenses in Florida and North Carolina now.
I do.
It's great. And I'm so glad 2 years
Yeah.
in, and now how are things going?
So they're going so much better. And I just want to thank you for chatting with me. I think it was maybe about a year ago. I don't
I think
remember
it
exactly
was.
when I reached out to you
Yeah.
and just said, man, this is hard. It's really hard work. The numbers don't make sense. I feel like I'm working a lot for very little return. So again, just another word of encouragement. And I put a post out on our DPC women's group a couple weeks ago because it occurred to me, gosh, this is what it feels like to actually have a DPC family of patients and they're all doing okay. I'm not onboarding everybody every day. The burden is a little lighter. And so things are going much better. And so I would say just stay in the moment, stay with it, find a mentor like I found you who was able to encourage me along the way. Don't give up. Man, it's hard. I hear people say it's a different kind of hard. I don't know if you agree about that.
Absolutely. 100%. Different kind of hard. Different kind of hard. And I also hear people say that the hardest day in DPC is like nothing compared to the hardest day in fee for service.
Yes, we need to put that up on a poster, I think, right
Yeah.
above our coffee machine in the office, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it is different.
Yeah. Different kind of hard is absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you've got 6 children. You moved from North Carolina to Florida.
Didn't know a soul.
Didn't know anyone. You're starting your DPC practice from scratch because you knew you already had been in it. You've been in DPC and you thought, okay, I'm not going back, right? Not going back to fee for
I
service.
thought I was many times. I thought
Uh-huh.
about it.
Okay,
Not
yeah,
really, not really,
yeah.
but it's tempting
Uh-huh.
sometimes.
It is, it is, it is.
Yeah.
So what would you say was in that whole move, right? So about 2 years ago, what was the biggest challenge?
Yeah, I think honestly, Anna, and I know this is part of your heart for this conversation, it's the juggle. So it's the mom juggle. So my kids are now, I've done various things in family medicine. My latest pre-DPC, I actually loved my job. I was in academic medicine and loved it so much. Just loved teaching, working with the residents, but it was a very much a full-time job and it kept me away from home a lot more than I personally wanted. Everybody's got their own journey. Um, and so that still is the hardest part about DPC is just that pull. How much do we give to our patients and our office, and then how much do we save the best for our families? And that pull is still there, but I feel like the choice is ours in DPC. So
Yes.
I see patients 3 days a week in the office and a day at home. I do some virtual visits at home. And so for me, that's a good balance. Some moms are able to do it 5 days a week or more. I think everybody's got a different thing. And that's the beauty of DPC is you get to tell you what you're going to do.
Right. Yeah. You get to make your own schedule. You get to make your boundaries. You need to
Right.
keep your boundaries. That's hard too, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was going to
Yeah.
ask you, you said you have 3 days in the office and then a half day of like telemed. Is that right?
I
So
do.
how my partner is right now, and both of us are in office, and then she's trying to make some time where she's just telemed, except that's hard. It's hard to kind of just keep it telemed. So what do you have any suggestions for keeping that boundary of just having it telemed that one day? How do you
Yeah.
get your
So I am actually at home on Wednesdays.
uh-huh.
So my kids are homeschooled. That's another part of our story that I didn't mention. So I just need to be here with them. And so they're old enough. Again, they're teenagers. I'm not sitting at the table with them anymore, but I really just do need to be present for them. And so my patients know I'm home on those days. I only do the scheduling myself on Wednesdays. They're pretty light. It's also my admin day as well. And patients just know I don't have a large panel. At this point, I have about somewhere around 300 patients. And then I do hormone consults on the side. And I feel like that's about as much as I can do and still give patients the care that they deserved and that I promised. So I guess my short answer is I do telemedicine from home because I have no access then to the office.
Right. Okay. So that's your answer is just not being
Yeah.
in the office physically. That's pretty good. That'll work. You're not there. You're not there.
Yeah. But it's a different juggle too. It is hard to work from home. As much as I want to be present, I think it's hard for moms. There's always a load of laundry to do, there's always something to do at home.
Yeah, definitely. So tell me about the homeschooling, because that's another thing that I think, people think, how am I going to have a practice and how am I going to homeschool my children? What have you found any tips or like ways to make it work?
Yeah, my kids right now are older. We've done a variety of schooling as they've grown up, and we've kind of let the kids speak into that, and they love it. They love the flexibility. So I think once kids are middle school and older, it's much, much easier. I homeschooled my kids. We did sort of a hybrid school when they were younger, and you really just have to be present with them. I think there are some women in DPC I've seen on some of our forums who are able to do that. I think it would require maybe a half day in clinic every day or some evenings. I've heard people doing that as well. And then you've got the daytime hours with children. So again, you get to create, that's the beauty of it. You get to create what's best for you and your family and stick with it. It's the hard part.
Yeah, you could really do, homeschool days during the daytime with your kids, and then just having office hours, either virtual or in person in the evenings. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would appreciate that because with work, patients would really like that. So that's a nice option. Maybe not even every day, but
yeah,
a couple days,
just a couple evenings. Yeah, I think that's the challenge. And I don't know if you run into this too. I think as women, we want to help everybody and do all the things all the time. And this is one of the mistakes I made was we fill in all of our hours. So if there's a void, we will fill it. So I think that's the one caution that I would have for moms is really just protect your time.
Yeah. We're hiring a nurse practitioner coming up soon, which is exciting in itself.
Wonderful.
Yes. And so yesterday we were saying, how, what are her hours going to be? And we were trying to figure it out. And we asked her, what hours do you want? And then she said, well, from 8 to 2 or 3 or whatever it was. And we're like, okay, well, what about lunch? I don't need a lunch. And we're like, wait, but no, you can take a lunch. You're okay. You do not have to solid see patients for 6 or 7 hours and not take a break, because that's just what you're so used to, that creating that schedule, you think, I have every single hour open so that I can see patients.
I agree. It's so easy to jump from that same fee for service model. I did that in the very beginning, no lunch. You could have looked at my schedule in that first, and granted, I wasn't busy. I didn't have any patients, but just the idea that as women, sometimes we do feel this need to fill every single minute of every day, and we're not doing enough if we don't. And that's really just not the case. We'll do a much better job if we create those buffers, and we'll be better for our families and our patients in the end.
That's one of the things coming from fee for service into DPC. I think the schedule, there's so many things. They're holdovers, right? From your previous practice, from fee for service world.
Right. How long would you say, this would be a good question to banter, what's your experience in terms of how long it took you to unwind from coming from fee for service and to kind of settle into this new way of practicing?
I think I was definitely within a couple of months, like really eased into it, and especially because we weren't super fast at the beginning, we weren't really, really full. So you kind of get used to having just a couple patients a day. And then you get to the point, like a couple months ago, I had 6 a day, and I was like, this is a lot. Right?
Isn't that so funny?
Yeah. And I thought, oh man, this is a lot. This is way more than I want to see in one day. And I don't have as many patients as you do, because we're split half, DPC and half aesthetics. And so and that's another thing. It's like, if you're going to have something else, like you're doing the hormone consults now, with having that.
Yeah.
Are you close to DPC patients now, or are you still taking?
I am. Yeah, I have a wait list at this point. That just started in the last few weeks. And it was, I think, one of the happiest moments of my DPC career so far. It was great. It's just neat to be at that place where I could take more, but I feel like, again, I'm at capacity. And as there's some attrition naturally, as people move away or move in a different direction, then I'll have patients. But yeah, again, it's just, as moms, I think it's a lot about understanding your own capacity and the capacity of your family, and the types of patients. I tend to attract patients who just need more time. Sure. And we're doing a little bit of a deeper dive. I'm not a functional medicine physician, but I do a pretty deep dive, as I think many of us do in DPC. We have more time. So, but then that also is just a little bit of a heavier burden. So I think fewer patients for me is better.
Yeah. And so how is the hormone consult side going?
It is so much fun. Oh my goodness, it is so much fun. I graduated the year the WHI study came out. And so literally we got zero training, of course, in medical school. And then I entered into residency and we yanked everybody off of hormones. And I've kind of had a fascination with this, watching my mom's journey. And she really just, it was very difficult for her. I remember when she was pulled off of Prempro, and it was really challenging. And I made a mental note. I didn't really understand it at the time, but it's so funny. I've told my husband for years, I said, there's this thing called menopause coming, and I'm not really sure what we're going to do about it. But if you see me going crazy, I need you to be very brave and get help for me.
I'm telling you now.
And so it's been so much fun. I just turned 50 last month, and it's been really fun to learn now what we're learning in the last, whatever, 2 or 3 years. Now, what we know about women's hormone. I'm just so excited and so thankful to be able to help this next generation go through that transition much more seamlessly. And as DPC women, a lot of us are in this season trying to juggle everything with declining hormones is quite the adventure. So it's been super fun, really fun and gratifying work. Yeah.
Yeah. How are you getting your patients for the hormone consults?
So yeah, I've seen some of your posts on doing Google ads and things like that. I think that's an area that you're really well versed in. I'm not. So my patients have been coming from word of mouth locally. I found a bunch of moms groups here in mostly in Southwest Florida who have come to me that way. I did my training through the Heather Hirsch Academy, and I actually have gotten a large handful of patients directly from her website.
Oh, really?
Which is lovely. I'm very thankful for that, because that then they understand sort of hormones are an art. You can do them many different ways. And so they understand the training that I've had. And then the third, I have a dear friend from high school who's really gifted at Google ads and running effective campaigns. And she just loves what I'm doing in DPC. She's been a huge fan. And so she just started running ads for me for free on her. I'm very thankful. And I keep asking her why. She said, I think this is important work. And so I want to contribute. Isn't that amazing?
That's so sweet. Well, you're putting it out there too. So, it's coming back. It's coming back to you.
So there are women out there, and God's going to bring the ones who need help, and the ones that I have the skill set that will match with what they need.
That is exciting. And that's really one of the things that, being in DPC, you can do things that you're passionate about, right? Where you wouldn't have time to learn about these things and to develop these other skills, or, just take deep dives, like you said, into other topics, just because you're so busy with everything else. So it's great. I'm so glad that you have that opportunity.
Yeah. It's fun to find those things, because if we continue to do the same thing every day, it can become very mundane, and every story is different. Every patient's unique, of course, in DPC, but I still feel like we need something that just gives us that spark that really kind of fuels our passions.
I think that also, because you did go into DPC, that means you have a little bit of the entrepreneurship mindset, right? The entrepreneur in you. And one of the things that I'm learning now, as entrepreneurs, you are probably like me in that there's a lot of that shiny object syndrome. You know what I mean? It's like squirrel, don't look at the lady in the red dress, don't look, you kind of have to focus a little bit.
Oh my, you're so right. That's worth talking about. I think that's a really good word of caution, because I became a fitness and nutrition coach.
Oh, I've seen that.
I did DPC, which has been really fun. I still use that. I don't run that business necessarily very much any longer, but it's been a great tool for me. And then I was listening to a podcast on peptides the other day. I'm like, oh, that sounds really fun. And then I had to think, no, that's really not my lane right now. I need to stay. But you're right. That's the beauty of being in this business, that it's so creative. You get to do so many different things if you wish. I think it depends. I think we need to focus. And I think sometimes we're more effective with one or two things.
Right.
But shiny object syndrome is a real thing.
So what have your children thought about direct primary care? What about the rest of your family?
So my family's been really supportive. They've been supportive through all of my crazy journey. I did urgent care for 10 years, then academic medicine, and now DPC. And so I feel very fortunate that they're very supportive. I do the DPC really solely myself. So my husband is a pastor, he's doing his thing, and then I'm doing my thing. Excuse me. I know some families are able to kind of blend the two together, and there's a lot of family support. So my family supports me in every way, but not necessarily in the trenches. They love having me around. You know, we get our kids for such a small season. So we get to be there now for all of the meetings and games and things that I was absent for a long time that were, you know, just really tugged at my mama heartstrings.
Right.
So I think I think they're thankful. They still see me working from home probably more than I should, which is just the reality, I think, of being a physician. It just is what it is. But yeah, very supportive. I'm so thankful. Yeah, so thankful that I have their support. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like being in a box. I'm kind of a free thinker. I don't love to be told what to do. And I practice according to evidence-based guidelines, but I like to have a little bit of freedom within that. And so even in DPC, it's been fun. I've taken my kids with me on house calls with permission from patients. I've gone to visit patients in the hospital, and so it's really fun. I would never even have thought of doing that in an employed situation. You just can't. There are just certain things that you can't do. So I love the fact that my kids get to, and that kids need to see their moms, you know, doing what they do and taking good care of people and using our gifts. So I think that part of it is really neat. Have that ability.
Yeah. And not only do they get to see you, the good things that you do, but then also they get to see how your patients react to you and realize that, hey, mom does really good things, right? And people appreciate her. Because if you're in an office, like a regular office, your kids they typically won't get to see that.
They don't.
And they don't really understand, you know, the impact that you have on people.
Right. Yeah. And just to train up our kids in business, you know, the homeschool hybrid that my son is in right now has a very strong emphasis on entrepreneurship. And my dad was an automobile dealer. He had a used car business growing up. That's how he provided for us. And, you know, my mom just supported us in all the other ways. And as physicians, we're just not taught that at all. And we have enough other things to learn. I don't say that to fault anybody at all. We've got a lot to learn in our training, but how neat it is to be able to pass that gift on to our kids, because I think we need entrepreneurs. We really need people to own businesses and think outside the box and be creative. So I think it's just a great example. Pass on.
So do you think you got some of that from your dad, the entrepreneur bug?
It's so funny because this is why I called you, Ann, because I definitely have the genetics. It's definitely there because I love being creative. I always have. But man, I did not get the business sense from him. I'm just wondering where that is in here. So I'm just learning. It's like anything else. I'm learning QuickBooks. I'm learning right now. I'm just learning how to really think through my finances. And I'm at the point now where I want to understand more. I want to understand how to grow and scale. And so, yeah, so I think I got that, but I didn't get some of it, but that's okay. I got to learn. We're learning.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, people say doctors are bad businessmen, but I don't really think that's true. I think it's just they don't understand it and they don't know. And, you know, obviously, if you're a physician, you've gotten through med school, you know, you can learn this. Other people do, right? So why can't doctors learn?
I agree. Yeah, I agree. It takes time and practice and people like you to help me along the way, and our kind accountant and the people at QuickBooks that I'm on the line with most every day when I'm trying to reconcile my accounts and all of those things. But it's fun. It's a new skill to learn. And we need to understand our businesses. I almost outsourced my bookkeeping, and not to say that that's a bad thing. I do think that there comes a point where we can take that off of our plates. But I actually spoke with someone from QuickBooks, which is what I use. And she said, you really shouldn't do that. You're still too small. You can do this. You have to learn. And so let us teach you. And I think that's just important. I think it's easy to pass those things off when we need to be learning it and running it.
That's really good advice. And there's some kind of like QuickBooks membership. Maybe you have it, but I know we did get that for our office manager so that she could have a resource whenever she needed it.
That's exactly what I did. Didn't even know it existed. $30 a month. You can get on the line with them anytime and they will walk you through the whole process. It's amazing. Never heard of it. I know.
It's great. Yeah. Well, do you have any last minute things that you want to tell people who are, on the fence about DPC?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, go for it 100% and lean on this community. Our DPC women group is amazing. So I would say take the leap and then find one of us. And just like I called you and you were so willing to help, we all want to pay it forward. So none of us have it all figured out, but we can all help. And it's such a supportive community. So I would say 100% do it. I have no regrets. It's a different kind of hard, but it's a beautiful kind of hard. It really is.
Yeah. It is. Well, Dr. Doty, thank you so much. And please tell us the name of your practice again and how to find you.
Sure. The name of my practice in Florida is Crossroads Health and Wellness, and I practice virtually in North Carolina and in person in Florida. And my website is www.crossroadsdpc.com. I'm not on Instagram very much, but it's Hey Heather Doty and Heather Curlin Doty on Facebook, which is where my generation tends to live. So.
Right. Yeah. I got you. Okay, awesome. I'll put that all in the notes. And thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Anne. I love what you're doing.
Thank you for listening to DPC Life. If today's conversation inspired you, hit follow, leave a review, and share it with a friend who's ready for change. Remember, wherever you are in the journey, your DPC family has your back. Until next time, keep building a practice and a life that truly fits you. This show is brought to you by DPC Ads in Minutes and Harmony Ops Health, helping independent doctors like you grow and thrive.